Italy's recent naval export agreements with Indonesia and Greece reveal a deeper strategic recalibration taking place in Rome, one that reflects the country's complex identity, its historical sensitivities, and its desire to redefine what it means to be a maritime power in the 21st century. For decades, Italy has lived with what might appear to be a contradiction, a nation whose modern political culture is profoundly pacifist, yet one that possesses one of the world's most advanced and respected naval industrial sectors. Rather than being an inconsistency, this tension has shaped Italy's strategic psychology, pushing it toward a model of influence built on stability, technical excellence, and maritime governance rather than force projection. The latest deals with Indonesia and Greece illustrate this carefully calibrated approach and show how Rome is attempting to align its industrial imperatives with its ethical self-perception. To understand the significance of these agreements, one must first look at Italy's post-World War II mindset. After the devastation of the conflict, Italy embraced constitutional and cultural frameworks that rejected war as a legitimate tool of national policy. This created deep societal skepticism toward military adventurism and arms exports, particularly when sales appeared linked to human rights concerns or authoritarian regimes. At the same time, Italy maintained and expanded a world-class naval design and shipbuilding ecosystem, centered around Fincantieri and supported by a network of specialized industrial regions. The challenge for Rome has long been how to sustain this industrial and technological capacity while staying true to its normative values. The answer that is now emerging is not to export warfighting capabilities, but to export maritime stability. The Indonesian case serves as a particularly clear expression of this logic. Indonesia is not merely a buyer, it is a rising maritime actor in the Indo-Pacific whose vast archipelago demands robust patrol capabilities to combat illegal fishing, support search and rescue missions, secure shipping lanes, and maintain overall maritime governance. The Italian-built patrol vessels supplied under the recent contract are not symbols of militarization or attempts to shape regional power dynamics. They are tools of responsible maritime management. For Italian audiences, this distinction is crucial. A ship built in Italy becomes, in this context, not an enabler of coercion but an instrument of good governance and regional stability. It also subtly extends Italy's presence into Southeast Asia, not through geopolitical confrontation but through cooperation, technical professionalism, and shared operational standards. This reflects a softer, more constructive form of influence rooted in maritime law and long-term partnership rather than raw power. The agreement with Greece reflects another dimension of Italy's evolving naval diplomacy. Unlike the politically fraught sale of frigates to Egypt several years ago, the transfer of Italian naval vessels to Greece takes place within a community of democratic allies. Greece faces legitimate maritime security challenges in the Aegean and Eastern Mediterranean and operates fully within NATO and EU defense norms. Italy's decision to transfer existing vessels while replacing them with new domestic orders represents a clear example of cyclical industrial strategy. Rome supports alliance cohesion, strengthens Mediterranean security, and maintains steady activity across its shipyards. The result is beneficial for both strategic stability and domestic industry. Italian workers keep their jobs, engineers continue developing advanced naval technologies, and the Italian Navy sustains operational readiness. The broader alliance structure is reinforced rather than destabilized. Together, the Indonesian and Greek cases underpin a new narrative that Rome is consciously constructing. Italy is positioning itself not as an arms exporter fueling distant conflicts, but as a maritime partner contributing to global stability. This is not rhetorical camouflage, it is, increasingly, a deliberate strategic shift. Italian politicians and analysts now emphasize themes such as technical collaboration, life cycle support, interoperability, and job creation rather than the transactional language of weapons sales. Media coverage highlights engineering excellence, maintenance packages, technology transfer, and diplomatic continuity. In other words, Italy presents naval exports as contributions to networks of maritime security rather than as deliveries of military hardware. This reframing is especially important given the reputational damage that occurred during the Egyptian frigate sale, which collided with public outrage over human rights issues and the murder of Giulio Regeni. That episode forced Italy to confront a moral contradiction, supporting domestic shipbuilding while appearing to align with a repressive foreign government. The new export strategy, by contrast, seeks to place Italy firmly on the ethically defensible side of global security partnerships. Indonesia and Greece therefore function not only as economic opportunities but as corrective symbols, examples of how Italy can reconcile industrial interests with societal values. On a deeper level, this shift strengthens Italy's projection of soft power. Unlike the United States, Italy does not possess a global coercive apparatus. Unlike China, it does not pursue an assertive model of naval diplomacy. Italy's comparative advantage lies in craftsmanship, reliability, and a political identity rooted in mediation rather than confrontation. When an Italian-built vessel arrives in Jakarta or Piraeus, it represents engineering quality and cooperative intent, not hegemonic ambition. Looking ahead, this places Italy in a favorable position to serve markets such as Malaysia, Vietnam, Romania, or Chile, countries that require dependable maritime capabilities without becoming entangled in great power patronage systems. Italy offers a middle path, high-quality naval platforms paired with long-term partnerships based on mutual respect. Italian strategic culture reinforces this trajectory. The Italian Navy itself focuses on anti-submarine warfare, mine countermeasures, escort duties, humanitarian operations, and patrol missions rather than offensive strike capabilities. Italy exports what it practices: maritime security over maritime domination. For Italian society, this alignment matters. Instead of associating naval exports with repression or militarism, citizens increasingly see their industry contributing to international law, safe navigation, and cooperative security. The psychological effect is a shift from discomfort to cautious acceptance, and ultimately toward justified pride in Italy's role as a guardian of maritime order. In the end, the cases of Indonesia and Greece are not isolated commercial transactions but strategic instruments of national identity. Italy is recasting itself from a supplier of warships into an architect of maritime stability. It is using its shipyards not to inflame conflict but to build networks of peaceful maritime governance. This approach reflects Italy's history, values, and strategic culture: strength at sea not for conquest, but for security.